Hello and welcome to the Bible Flicks. This is Zuzu. Today I'm reading Chicken Soup for Little Souls, the Never Forgotten Doll, inspired by the #1 New York Times bestseller Chicken Soup for the Soul by Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen, illustrated by Mary O'Keefe Young. Okay, ready? "Ellie, what a surprise!" said Miss Maggie when she opened the door. She always said that, even though I came every day after school. "I've just made cookies," she said. "Will you help me eat a few?" Miss Maggie was the best sitter I'd ever had, and I'd had a lot. Mom called her my adopted grandmother, but I didn't know you could adopt a person so old. "Tell me a story from when you were little," I begged Miss Maggie for the gazillionth time. "Wonderful idea. What should the story be about today?" she asked between sips of hot cocoa. I tried to think up a new story starter. Miss McGee's stories were the best. "I know," I said. "Tell me about your favorite toy." Miss McGee thought for a moment, then frowned. "I should warn you, this one isn't a happy story." "It's okay. Tell me," I said. On my 8th birthday, I opened a present that I will never forget. She was the most beautiful doll I had ever seen. Her big blue eyes opened and closed on a real china face. She wore a fancy white dress with lace trim, and her long brown hair was tied back with the pink satin ribbon. Owning a doll like that was a dream come true for a poor farm girl like me. I knew my parents couldn't afford fine things. How much they must have loved me to have spent their hard earned money on such a luxury. Miss McGee got a misty look in her eyes. I was extra careful with her all morning. Dolls back then were very fragile. Their faces were made of the most delicate china. I still remember how magical it felt just to hold her. She was the most wonderful thing I had ever owned. My mother lit the candles on my birthday cake and called me to the kitchen. I laid her down gently on the hallway table, but as I went to join my family for my birthday song, we heard the crash. I knew without looking that it was my precious doll. Her lacy dress had hung from the table just enough for my babysitter to reach up and pull on it. When I ran to the hall, there was my doll, her face smashed to pieces. My mother tried to glue her up, but it couldn't be done. She was gone forever. I had never seen a look that on Miss Maggie's face. I wrapped my arms around her neck and hugged her tight. The rest of the day we practiced my spelling words and played games, but I couldn't stop thinking about how unhappy Miss McGee had looked, remembering her broken doll. Later that night, Mom said Saturday's Miss McGee's birthday. "Why don't you and I bake her a cake and bring it over there?" "Oh, Mom, that's perfect," I said. Miss McGee was sad today, and that's just the thing to cheer her up. The next day after school, I found an even better thing. I was walking to Miss McGee's, just like always, when I saw a doll in the window of Mulligan's Collectibles. She looked really old and she had a white lacy dress. Her hair was blonde, not brown, and there was no pink satin ribbon, but I thought Miss McGee might like her anyway. I went in and asked Mr. Mulligan, "The doll in the window, do her eyes open and close?" Mr. Mulligan said, "Yes, they do, but that's not a doll for a little girl like you. That's an antique." Grown-ups collect them. Oh no, it's not for me. I want to buy that doll for my friend, Miss McGee, I explained. That's an awfully expensive present. Maybe Miss McGee would like one of these embroidered hankies instead. Mr. Mulligan held up a dumb white handkerchief with flowers on it. How much for the doll? I asked him in my most grown up voice. Well, she's not in the best shape. I suppose I could let you have her for $35? My eyes bugged out about a mile. Where would I ever get $35? That night, I tried Mom. May I have $35 to buy Miss McGee a birthday present? I asked real casual. Mom laughed. It's sweet that you want to buy a gift for your friend, but I'm sure the birthday cake we're making will be enough. I begged and pleaded, but the best I could get out of Mom was, if you really want to give Miss McGee a gift that badly, we'll go shopping on Saturday morning, but we can't afford to spend $35. I'm sorry, darling, but we just can't. I knew no other gift would do, so I emptied my elephant bank and counted my money. I had exactly $8.49. It was already Thursday, and there was no time to save up any more. I put the $8.49 in the sock and folded it up. I had a plan, but I wasn't sure it would work. On Friday after school, I went to see Mr. Mulligan. I really need that doll, Mr. Mulligan, I said. I have $8.49 to pay you right now, and I will help out in your store every weekend until I have paid the rest of the money, which will probably be forever. Mr. Mulligan scratched his head. After you asked about that doll yesterday, I went to take another look at her and thought, it's the darnest thing. She's more damaged than I thought. One of my workers must have laid her head on some wet wood stain. The back of her hair is just ruined. I don't know who's going to pay much for her now. I reckon if you need her that badly, I can consider $8.49 a fair price. You've got a deal, I shouted when Mr. Mulligan took the doll down the doll and showed me her ruined hair. I got the best idea ever. The time passed slowly at Miss McGee's that afternoon, and when she asked me what was in the bag, I told her it was a secret and she mustn't look inside. Aren't you mysterious today? She teased. When I got home, I raced to my room and unwrapped the doll. I took out my brown magic marker and I laid the doll down and spread her hair on a piece of construction paper. Then, very, very carefully, I colored all of her blonde hair brown. The stained part disappeared and she was even more like the doll Miss McGee remembered. There was only one thing missing and I knew where to get it. I took my favorite and only party dress out of my closet and laid it on my bed. There, right at the neck, was a pink satin ribbon. I cut it off with my safety scissors, being careful to cut just the threads that held it on and not the dress. I tied it on the doll's new brown hair. She was perfect. But what would Mom say when she found out about my dress? On Saturday, we went to see Miss McGee. Ellie, what a surprise, she said. For once, I think she meant it. Mom and I marched in singing Happy Birthday to You. I could hardly wait till the song was over to give Miss McGee her present. To Miss McGee from Ellie. Miss McGee carefully pulled back the tissue paper. When she finally saw the doll, her eyes filled up with tears. Ellie, she whispered, where on earth? Is she close? I asked. Is she like the doll that got broken? She is exactly like my doll, Miss McGee said, without once taking her eyes off the present. But where did you ever find her and how did you ever afford her? Mom was looking at me like she wanted to know the same thing. So I told them both the whole story. When I got to the part about my dress, I asked my mom, "Are you mad?" Mom squeezed my hand and her voice cracked when she told me, "No, sugar, I'm not mad." A tear ran down Miss McGee's face and she said, "Now I know how it is possible that this doll looks just like the one I held in my arms exactly 8 years ago today. Both dolls were gotten from pure love, and love, wherever it comes from, always looks the same." The cake was delicious, and Miss McGee said it was her favorite birthday yet. The end. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.